This is the story of Alaric, a Gothic king who shook the Eternal City and vanished into legend. A river bends through southern Italy, in what is modern-day Calabria, carrying a secret no one has found in almost 1600 years. In 370 AD, on Peuce Island in the Danube Delta, a child was born, a boy who would one day bring Rome to its knees. The Visigoths were a people caught between two worlds, the vast open steppe to the north and the all-consuming power of the Roman Empire to the south. In 376 AD, Gothic tribes crossed the Danube into Roman territory, fleeing the Huns, a migration that would change the fate of the empire forever. Rome permitted the crossing, then exploited the refugees, selling them rotten food, enslaving their children. And, as a result, the Goths rose in righteous fury, and in the year 378, annihilated a Roman army at the Battle of Adrianople. Young Alaric grew up in the shadow of that victory, shaped by betrayal and forged in its aftermath, slowly hardening into the leader he was destined to become. Alaric served in Roman armies, a Gothic soldier fighting for an empire that saw his people as outsiders and would never fully accept him. At the Battle of the Frigidus in 394 AD, Gothic foederati were placed in the front lines to absorb the slaughter. Rome won the battle. The Gothic losses were immense, and Rome offered the survivors nothing. No land, no recognition. In 395 AD, Alaric was acclaimed king of the Visigoths. He had one singular ambition: a homeland. He did not seek Rome's destruction. He sought recognition, a formal rank, a territory his people could call home. Denied this recognition and unwilling to be ignored, Alaric turned his forces southward, marching through Greece, plundering everything in his path. But Rome was watching. Rome's general Stilicho cornered Alaric's forces, then elected to use the Gothic king as a pawn in the empire's internal power games. Stilicho promised Alaric a senior Roman military command, one well overdue, but then denied it as politics shifted beneath him. In 408 AD, Stilicho was executed. Alaric's last real ally in the Roman world was gone. With no more options, Alaric marched on Rome. He blockaded the city, starving it into negotiation rather than storming its walls. The Roman Senate paid him 5,000 pounds of gold to withdraw. A kingdom's wealth bought a brief peace, but it would not last. Alaric took to battle again, but Emperor Honorius remained barricaded in Ravenna, refusing every demand, offering nothing but delay and contempt. Unwilling to fully give up on the Romans, Alaric returned to Rome's gates a second time, still seeking a settlement, yet still refused an answer. Then, on the night of August 24th, 410 AD, slaves inside the city opened the Salarian gate from within, letting the Visigoths flood in. For the first time in over 800 years, a foreign army had breached the walls and entered the eternal city of Rome. The Visigoths looted Rome for 3 days and 3 nights. But, by the standards of ancient warfare, the sack was restrained. Alaric, himself a Christian, ordered the great basilicas protected from the chaos unfolding around them. Many Romans fled inside and were left entirely unharmed. The news shattered the ancient world from Britain to Persia. Saint Jerome, writing in anguish from Bethlehem, declared, "The light has gone out." Saint Augustine would spend years writing The City of God in direct response, wrestling with what Rome's collapse meant for Christianity and the will of God. Laden with Rome's treasures and as much gold as he could carry, Alaric led his people southward, dreaming of Africa, the empire's breadbasket. With hope, Alaric prepared for the brutal crossing to Sicily, but storms destroyed his fleet, blocking the path to Roman Africa entirely. And in the weeks that followed, Alaric fell gravely ill, and then, somewhere in the deep south of Italy, his body failed. In late 410 AD, King Alaric died at Cosentia, just mere months after the greatest triumph of his life. To bury their king, the Visigoths diverted the course of the Busento River, forcing the water aside to expose the dry riverbed beneath. In the exposed riverbed, Alaric's tomb was built, adorned with the splendid spoils and trophies he had taken from Rome. When the burial was complete, the waters were restored, the river flowing once more over his hidden grave, sealing it from the world forever. The enslaved workers who built the tomb were killed as well, so the location of Alaric's grave died with them, never to be revealed. Beneath the Busento lies, according to legend, 800 years of Roman accumulated treasure, still waiting, undiscovered. Hunters have searched for this tomb for 15 centuries, including the Nazi army during the occupation in World War II. And Italy has launched official archaeological investigations beneath the Busento riverbed in search of this ancient history, but have found nothing yet. And as for Alaric, he was called Barbarian by Rome, yet he served Rome, believed in its Christian faith and spoke its language. The Romans called those outside their borders barbarians, a word that said more about Roman fear than Gothic reality. Rather than mindless barbarism, everything Alaric did, every siege, every march, was the act of a man trying to find his people a home. The sack of Rome in 410 was not the empire's end, but it was the beginning of the fall, and fractured something irreversible in the Roman imagination. 66 years after Alaric, the Western Roman Empire would dissolve entirely, Rome's long decline made complete. After Alaric, his brother-in-law Ataulf led the Visigoths north, finally realizing their dream of establishing a homeland and founding a kingdom in southern Gaul. Alaric's legacy is not simply destruction. It is the story of an outsider who brought a great empire to its knees and forced it to reckon with its failures. I'll leave you with this. Who was truly barbaric? The man seeking a home for his people, or the empire that betrayed them repeatedly? Alas, the Busento still winds through the hills of Cosenza, cold and unhurried. The water does not answer, it simply moves. History done properly takes time. Every video on this channel is built on weeks of genuine academic research and careful editing, and we pour everything into getting it right. If you enjoyed this one, your support through subscribing truly keeps this work alive. There are so many more stories waiting to be told. And so, with that, we'll see you in the next one.